16th combined meeting of the Pine-Richland School Board. Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Ms. Williams. Roll call, and let's put Dr. Meyer last on that.
All right. Mr. Lyons.
Here.
Mrs. Misbach.
Here.
Mr. Kashani.
Here.
Dr. Campbell.
Here.
Mr. DiTullio.
Here.
Mrs. Goebel.
Here.
Dr. Mihalik.
Here.
Mr. Moy.
Here.
Dr. Meyer.
Here.
Thank you.
Perfect. Thank you. Item 1.02 is recognition of visitors. If anyone would like to address the board, you may do so at this time. We also have a period at the end of our meeting to address the board on business before the board. Student and staff recognition. Ms. Hathorn.
Thank you. In recognition tonight, we start with 4 Pine-Richland High School students who are being named semi-finalists in the 2020 National Merit Scholarship Program. They include seniors Daniel Krill, Aiden Meyer, Gina Sable, and Justin Waltrip. These seniors were among 16,000 students who were named semi-finalists in the 65th Annual National Merit Scholarship Program. And about 90% of those semi-finalists will be obtaining finalist status. And about half of the finalists will earn a National Merit Scholarship, so congratulations. Also, we have some news from AP. 2019 graduates are Mullen New Oakville, Tom Fest, Lou Francis, Devin Gala, Jordan Labuda, Martha Lasik, David Murray, Umale, Nate Tisson, Abigail Warionkas, and Lucas Zach, and Kevin Zoe. And seniors Daniel Krill and Justin Waltrip were added to the 2019 National AP Scholar roster. So this is important because these students earned an average score of at least 4 on all AP exams taken and scores of 4 or higher on 8 or more AP exams, so it's pretty impressive. In all, 174 Pine-Richland students are being recognized for being either added to the AP Scholar roster, with the designation of National AP Scholar status, AP Scholar with distinction, AP Scholar with honor, or simply AP Scholar. Also, Pine-Richland School District team will be representing Pennsylvania Association of School Administrators and PA School Boards Association Leadership Conference in Hershey on October 16th and 17th. They include Superintendent Brian Miller, Board President Peter Lyons, Board Vice President Christine Misbach, School Director Carla Meyer, and Board Secretary Barb Williams. And the topic of the team's presentation is the pursuit of excellence, leadership, and governance. And this professional development session is open to all school leaders across Pennsylvania, so very nice. Pine-Richland School District is hosting Homecoming Weekend this weekend, so join us as Pine-Richland dances through the decades. Homecoming 2019, a procession of the marching band and auxiliaries and the Air Force Junior ROTC will make their way across the stadium at 6 p.m. Just be careful if you're coming in that way. The entrance will be closed for 15 minutes. And then the rest of the festivities begin. You can also check out the booths with concessions and spirit wear, and they're open to the community. Also on Wednesday, be sure to stop by the Allegheny Valley Band Festival at the high school stadium at 7 p.m. as band members and other area schools perform. Tickets will be sold at the gate. Also, 5 individual and 1 team will be inducted into the first ever Pine-Richland Athletic Hall of Fame. They will be recognized at the stadium at 6:45 on Friday, October 4th, prior to the football game. The induction banquet will be held that Saturday, October 5th at 6 p.m. in the cafeteria of the high school. The class of 2019 inductees include Megan Klingberg, Jack McCurry, Ozzie Santa Cruz, Eugene Sullivan, Neil Walker, and the 1969 football team. There are some tickets still available if you want to go to the banquet, so you want to check out pinerichland.org/athletics for the ticket form. So that is all.
Thank you, Rachel. Tremendous. Correspondence, Ms. Williams?
Mrs. DeLuca emailed the board regarding transportation.
Thank you. Item 1.05 is an action item, a motion to approve the minutes as listed.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor say yes.
Yes.
Yes. Opposed? Motion carries. Strategic plan update, Dr. Miller.
You or me? You all,
What was that?
go ahead, you or me.
No, I can do it. So, what we had done and what we were looking at for the 2019-2023 strategic plan, looking at the long-term goals to increase the effectiveness of our Pine-Richland academies, which is the onboarding process we have for teachers and have been developed for paraprofessionals, but we are also started to develop and build those programs for custodial maintenance employees, secretaries, and to continue to refine the program that we also had in place for principals. We've also been working through the refining of learning and development for all employee groups, which are integrated through our performance evaluation and feedback systems. So what we have done at the beginning of this school year, we implemented a professional development plan, an individual professional development plan for all 500 employees at Pine-Richland. This is from custodial, secretarial, paraprofessional, professional, administrative support, and contracted employees. And really, on the individual professional development plan, we're trying to take that focus so that employees have ownership in their own professional development and learning, that we support all employees, understanding that all employees have different levels of knowledge, skills, capacity, and capabilities, and to try and identify ways in which we can support and lift up all of our employees throughout the entire year. So we have structured this plan and rolled that out at the beginning of this school year. Building principals are working at that at the building levels, while as other supervisors are helping to support that within their departments. So with that, we're looking to try and embed that throughout the school year and throughout the work of the district and the employees to help focus on and improve the professional development in those specific areas. So the last, to go back, and I apologize, going back to the Pine-Richland Academy section. The Pine-Richland Academy was developed as a induction program initially for new hires into the Pine-Richland School District, which is originally identified from a teacher perspective. The purpose of that, not only because we are required to have an induction program by state regulation requirement, but really we use it to onboard all new hires and new teachers. That program's design is to make sure that whether you are coming right out of college and as your first job, or whether you're coming to Pine-Richland from another school district with years of experience, the way that we do things at Pine-Richland is different than the way things are done at other school districts. And we want to make sure that those employees have a great launching point and start to their career at Pine-Richland, understanding not only our processes, procedures, and the like, but truly, what is the culture of Pine-Richland? How do we embed and integrate those new employees into our culture, our mission, our vision, our values, and make sure that that is propped up so that we have all new employees starting their employment off right within the district. So over the years, we have, as I said, developed those programs for teachers, for principals, and for paraprofessionals. We're creating 2 new Pine-Richland academies this year for custodial maintenance and for secretarial, and those have been developed and are working through implementation this school year. So we see a lot of positive coming out of those, and for that, it just integrates and helps with the professional development plans that are out there as well, because they can use and match those together to identify those areas of growth as we move forward through this school year to achieve those short-term actions that support the long-term strategic goals of the district.
And this next item is just
I
acknowledge.
want to thank
sorry.
Owen and say I think you covered the staff services meeting summary later, and I know it can sound very dry. The best moments in the meeting, no, it can.
It shouldn't
matters.
sound dry.
It matters, but the
If
best
it-
moments, right, was the opportunities for reflection, feedback, specific actions, specific changes that are being taken, and how it's impacting people doing their jobs, right? Which I know we got into. We get into those details about these are things that are happening as a result of this. So it is very exciting.
It 100% agree. If it didn't sound exciting, then it had to be the delivery of whatever was coming from back there. But to add to that, it is valuing every person. So we work really hard through our interview process, but we have not historically provided the support to paraprofessionals that they deserve. And so how can we, as an organization, do that well? It matters to that individual person, and then ultimately it supports what we're doing as a district. So we 100% agree. Really excited. Owen doesn't need to talk about it later. It's in Mrs. Goebel's section, but the actual presentation from the 6 o'clock meeting is attached there. And if you go through that, you can really read through the main points. So a lot of good work. We're excited about that. And that idea of continuous improvement is something we all want to model. So we have a number of people here tonight who are here, I'm thinking, because they want to be approved as new employees in the district. And they should also know that when that happens, they'll be brought into a place that is better than it was a year ago, and we hope to be better in another year from now. So in advance, congratulations, and also if everything goes well, you can leave as soon as the action is taken without hurting any feelings. Good. Okay. The next one, 2.02, is just acknowledgement that our PDE comprehensive plan was approved by PDE. And so that's just acknowledging that on our agenda. And as a reminder to the community, we build our strategic plan to drive us forward. In doing that, we also meet the needs, the requirements of PDE's comprehensive planning. So it really fits underneath, but the Pine-Richland strategic plan covers everything we need to do, and it sets the map for the future. So this is just really acknowledging the fact that we are in compliance. Thank you.
Thank you. So bear with me tonight. We have a mix of informational and action items. If I call a vote on your informational item, just play along with me. But first, we have a consent agenda. Item 3.01 is a motion to approve items 3.02 through 3.09 as attached. Do I have a second?
Second.
Is there any discussion, or would anyone like to pull an individual item for a separate vote? All those in favor, say yes.
Yes.
Opposed? Motion carries. Mr. Kashani, Finance, please.
Item 4.01 is a motion to approve the financial reports dated August 31st, 2019, and accounts payable dated September 16th, 2019, in the amount of $532,439.48, and paid accounts for August, September in the amount of $14,107,419.64 as listed.
Second.
Is there any discussion? All those in favor say yes.
Yes.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Item 4.02 is a reminder that we will not have budget transfers until October. Per Pennsylvania School Code, they're not permitted until October 1st. Items 4.03 and 4.04 are related. And at the October planning meeting, there'll be motions to approve council services as well as refunding of 2 series that will benefit the district. Any color you'd like to add, Dana?
Sure. So currently the market is very volatile. So at this point in time, both of these series provide us with the opportunity for refunding. By approving the parameters resolution, which is similar to what you've done in the past, we're essentially setting a target for both of these, and if the market adapts in that direction, then we would go ahead and move forward with this. If the market moves in opposite direction, we would be working with PNC Capital Markets not to incur any costs on behalf of the district. So the only time that we would incur costs for either one of these refundings would be for a joint bond rating call with Standard & Poor's, which again, we would continue to monitor basically the market as we move along and closer to that time frame, so that if the market does not respond, that we would not incur any cost for that. So the attachments for the engagement letter and for the bond refunding parameters resolution, they were actually received today. So we'll share those with you in advance, and then we'll go ahead and attach those to the agenda for the beginning of October. Tony Massidi will continue from PNC Capital Markets to provide us with market update information as we move forward.
Thank you, Dana.
Mark, I'd just like to bring to, and I think I mentioned this already, but just for everyone's awareness and the public's greater awareness, the refunding that's being proposed, we're accruing the savings from lower interest rates, just like you wouldn't refinance a house, but we're not bringing that into our operational savings. We're putting all of that savings by shortening the debt maturity, which is feedback that we've gotten from the rating agencies and also consistent with the direction the board's given in the past. So the proposal as it is right now for that refunding focuses all the savings in debt shortening, maturity shortening.
Thank you, Peter. Item 4.05 is just a note that we'd like to schedule on December 9th a joint finance and building and grounds committee meeting. That's okay with me?
Good. Yeah, and our thinking there, the finance committee meeting is pretty standard, that's our timeline. But the role of the capital funding plan and how we want to consider elements of that capital funding plan seem to make more and more sense in the manner in which we budget. So we put those two together to try to accomplish that.
One additional item that will be on the agenda for that committee meeting as well is our audit presentation. So we are required to have our audit finalized by the end of December, so our auditors will be here to kind of review everything. They're substantially done with the audit. They're actually returning later this week just to finish up their field work. So they would be the first item on the agenda. We'll also be touching on the 2021 budget, which is actually currently in process. So we'll talk through the timeline, we'll talk through the Act 1 resolution, and then at that point then we'll talk about the capital funding plan and some of the ideas that we're looking at in terms of inflation for some of the projects that we've looked at, and then kind of an update on where we are with each building and the major departments at that time.
And I think that's when we get some new pens from the auditors.
Not anymore.
Not
Yeah,
anymore?
not anymore.
Can we go back to the old auditors?
Just actually want the old pets.
I was
We
just
want
gonna
the-
say,
can they
I'm
just-
pretty sure that we could probably
Barely.
work that out for you.
Okay.
We could probably work out some.
If you can, then they're invited.
Okay.
Thanks, Mark.
Yep, my pleasure.
Okay. Item 5.01 is an award for bids for interior and exterior renovations at Richland Elementary.
Second.
Is there any discussion? All those in favor say yes?
Yes.
Yes?
Yes.
Opposed? Motion carries. Item 5.02 is an action item, a motion to approve the installation of windows at Richland Elementary per CoStar's application.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor say yes? Yes?
Yes.
Opposed? Motion carries. Item 5.03 is a motion to approve proposal from Athletic Field Pros for concrete work at the varsity softball field.
Second.
Any discussion here? All those in favor say yes?
Yes.
Yes? Opposed? Motion carries. Right.
Item 5.04 is an information item for varsity baseball field improvements. And at the October meeting, we'll have a motion to approve in accordance with policy 613, the cooperative purchasing, the work performed by Athletic Field Pros at the varsity baseball field in the amount of $39,433.58. Any discussions on that? Item 5.05 is going to be a motion to approve a bid, to bid the van trailer purchase. At the October meeting, we'll have a motion to approve the advertisement of bids for the purchase of the trailer for the Pine-Richland School District van. Specific bid documents and language will be reviewed and approved by Perry, Rudder, and Beam. Any discussions on that? This is, if I remember correctly, this is the replacement for the damage. But won't necessarily, because that was custom. That was donated and custom, right? We might not get the exact same as what we had,
So
correct?
what we tried to do, the one piece of the bid package that may be altered or changed basically before the beginning of October is primarily kind of like those front-end documents, all of the legal terms. I gave it my best shot, but I trust that Gary Ritter and Beam will probably adjust it to the way it should be. What we did try to do, though, was we worked with the band department to identify exactly the trailer that we did receive, along with those custom changes. So in the bid specifications, we listed not only the purchase of the trailer, but then also the graphics and the work that will need to be done to essentially move the shelving from the trailer that was damaged into the other one. So it is kind of a very specific, unique band trailer package per se, but it wasn't something that we could do through cooperative purchasing, so that's why we're actually following it, but we're trying to make it as custom as what we had received in the donation. Based on the true dollar amount, though, of those three pieces, not only the purchase and the graphics and the work to be done with the shelving, it pushes us over the bid limit, which is why we're doing it this way.
Okay.
This will also be covered by insurance proceeds, so we're working through all the logistics of that. The band trailer, even though it's covered under our vehicle policy, because it was not attached to a vehicle when the hailstorm happened, it's actually covered under our property policy.
I'm very pleased to see our actual school colors painted on the trailer.
Yes, most definitely. Along with the hydrant.
Okay, any other discussions on 505? Item 5.06, again, an information item which will be considered at the October meeting, will be a motion to approve the purchase and replacement of the box truck from Day Fleet Sales through the CoStar's Cooperative Purchasing Agreement. Exact value will be added prior to the October meeting. Item 5.07 will be purchase of a replacement tractor. Again, at the October meeting, we will have a motion to approve in accordance with Board Policy 613 in the Cooperative Purchasing Agreement, the purchase of a tractor from Krieger and Company through Sourcewell Cooperative Purchasing per the attachment. I think that one was around $28,000. I don't have the attachment open, but I believe that's where it was, and we've talked about that one before. And item 5.08 is just a, well, not just a, but it is a review of all of the summer projects and the updates, which was quite extensive and always is.
This will be your last official summer project update to be attached to the board agenda. However, as you can see from the list, quite a few of them have either been completed, are in the process of being evaluated, or actually will be worked on, whether it be throughout the year or next summer. So as any of these projects are coming through and anything of significance will definitely be communicated to the board, whether it be through finance, buildings, and grounds meeting, depending on, again, the size of the project. For example, Richland Elementary projects, we'll make sure that we continue to keep you updated on the progress as we move along. And then some of the other smaller projects might just come to you through an update or something along the lines of a summary. But this will be the official last project tracker update at this point until next summer.
I'm sure you're upset about that.
Thanks, great. We're able to get through that stuff so quickly because of the work that goes on with the capital funding plan. There's a lot of projects there, so all that disclosure, transparency, and planning builds confidence and lets us move through that stuff quickly, so thank you for that. Dr. Meyer, academic achievement.
This is just an informational item about the in-department review need for music, English, language arts, and library met Monday, September 9th, and Tuesday, September 10th. On the mornings of the initial meetings, the committee worked to deepen understanding of the process and the roles of each subcommittee. There are ongoing refinements and improvements to the afternoon school hours and times for each committee to begin their work. I'm not going to read it.
Yeah, if you'd like, we can provide a quick update. So
Yes, so ELA, library, and music, there was a lot of thought put into the timing of this. As you know, the in-depth program review, if that were the only thing we accomplished within our strategic plan each year, we have profoundly moved the district forward in terms of the programming offered to our students. So ELA, we have 166 staff members across the district engaged in some form of either instruction or support of the English language arts programming. 155 of those are teaching staff, 11 are paraprofessionals. So to have a representative group present for that is extremely important. And so we're really thinking through each lens of how those folks come together and how we're supporting the programming for students. And we're dovetailing the library in-depth program review on those same days so that we can see the interplay between those two areas and the ways in which they can support one another, particularly through research and literacy. So we have members of the library committee who are actually kind of sub-designated onto the English language arts committees to really inform one another's work, and they'll be meeting on the same days throughout the rest of the year. The music department, we also have representatives from that department, nearly all of them, but at least the grade span and also across each of the disciplines. So whether it's strings, chorus, or bands, they're all represented so we can really think through how we will improve those programs as well. And we discussed this earlier even through our committee meeting. However, the more individuals that we have go through this process and we're really living continuous improvement and the pursuit of excellence, it really helps our culture and the development outside of just informing the programs and the changes that we make for our students. And we've done a few things to improve this year in terms of keeping the entire department, particularly with ELA, knowing the number of folks across the district that are engaged and knowing what's happening in the work in that room. So each time we are creating summaries of the work that's been accomplished, and we're even holding individuals on the committee accountable to the point that we're putting our names down and it's precisely what we've accomplished at each of those sections. And then we're also sharing that out in an email form to the entire staff for English language arts so they understand what's happening in the room and can speak with those representatives on the committee if they would like to have their voice further engaged throughout that process. Dr. Pease.
Yeah, the only thing I'd add is, in addition to the study, as you all are aware, we have 6 departments in implementation phase of the in-depth program review. So what that means is, each program review, as we develop those recommendations, there are anywhere from 8 to 20 recommendations coming out from each of those departments. So we have right now 75 recommendations that we're working on. But the power of that is around the engagement of our staff. There are so many different people engaged in the process of change within the department. That includes teachers, principals, academic leadership council members. That's where the change happens, and it's sustained because of that ownership and engagement. So that's happening in addition to the study, and that's just going to continue cycle year after year. So that's why we're, again, most excited about the opportunity for change and improvement. To tie back to what Mr. Kenny said earlier, so one of the areas was individual PD plan, right? Individual professional development plan with areas of focus. The areas of focus for a staff member come directly out of that in-depth program review. So it's not all separate things, but rather that individual PD plan is a way to take all of these different pieces and make it more clear for each person depending on their role, which to me is one of the biggest challenges. The more vibrant, the sophisticated we are in what we're doing, the more people are engaged, the harder it is to sort of manage that. And so the individual PD plan helps us do that.
Thank you. Dr. Campbell.
Item 7.01 is an information item. A joint student and operational services committee meeting has been scheduled for October 7th at 6 p.m. The topics include demographic study update and preliminary redistricting discussion. I've had some questions already on this, and we're not moving any kids out of the district, right?
Yeah, I'd like to just interject because this morning we received an inquiry from a television station about redistricting, and we made it extremely clear that Pine-Richland School District is in the early stages, and as we said, preliminary study as outlined in the strategic plan. Now, the story ran at noon, was inaccurate and extremely misleading. I did follow up with the reporter to reiterate that we're in the planning stages of the preliminary study, but also Dr. Miller, to the update to families today, reiterated that we're in the early stages as well. So just wanted to clarify that.
This only affects the elementaries for redistricting.
Correct, yeah, the K-3 buildings, and that's actually something that even, because it's in the strategic plan, and we talked about that at the town halls upcoming and so forth, we met with the K-3 principals and also the joint PTO presidents, and that's something that came up there again, just as a very preliminary discussion that we're having here, but the focus then on October 7th will be to start that preliminary discussion with work to follow.
Thanks, Ben. Staff Services, Ms. Goble.
Okay, Item 8.01 is a motion to approve personnel and supplemental items as attached.
Second.
Is there any discussion? All those in favor say yes?
Yes.
Yes.
Opposed? Motion carries, and welcome to Pine-Richland, those present and not. Hopefully, the past half hour has given you a sign of all the work that we do and all the work that we expect for you to do, and it can start now while we finish some of our additional details. So, seriously, congratulations and enjoy your evening.
Great, thank you. Congratulations, Steve.
All right. Item 8.02 is a motion to approve the authorization of the superintendent and the director of human resources and legal affairs to hire the position of human resources specialist after September 16th, 2019, to be formally approved by the Board of School Directors at the October 7th school board meeting.
Second.
Is there any discussion?
What's hanging out there right now?
It's specifically the position in the motion. The human resources specialist was vacated. Last day was about a week ago. So we are in the process of recruiting for that. Had first round interviews today. But that's just really to support the HR office.
That's the only position really that we're.
No, there are some others in the district as well. We again had some late resignations on, for instance, like a kindergarten aide, a cafeteria recess monitor, the HR position, and
Two custodians.
two custodial positions as well. So there are still some hanging out there, but we think we can get through that month. But the HR position is needed.
8.03 is an information item regarding recognition. Oh, I'm sorry, we did motion. Oh, sorry.
Usually I go the other way.
Yes.
Motion's been made and seconded. Any further discussion? All those in favor say yes.
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 Opposed? Motion carries.
All right, on to 8.03, an information item. I don't know, Owen, do you want to comment on this? It's information regarding employees reaching tenure.
Yeah, so the list that we have here are those individuals who had not previously served 3 consecutive years in a public school previously. So all of these employees had been hired by the district during the 16-17 school year, and they were the employees. There were others hired during that time as well, but they had already obtained tenure at other school districts. So this is our acknowledgement that these 7 individuals have completed 3 successful years of employment with the Pine-Richland School District and are therefore deemed to be tenured under the Pennsylvania School Code and Pennsylvania law. So we congratulate them, thank them for their service thus far, and look forward to them having long careers here with the Pine-Richland School District.
Okay. And item 8.04 is a review of our staff service committee meeting that was held prior to this meeting, and Owen presented the workforce development engagement plan, which was, and put a lot of time and energy into it. I thought it was really informative, and it reflects on the new and improved hiring processes, onboarding processes for staff. If anyone else has anything to add, but I appreciate the time you put into it. I'm excited.
Do you want me to present it again to see if I can do it better?
No, I'm good.
All right.
Thanks, Jenny. Mr. Moy, Operational Services, please.
Item 9.01, this is a motion to approve the purchase of 120 Dell Chromebook 11s from Dell for $37,496 and the purchase of 7 interactive display boards from CDWG for $31,580.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor say yes.
Yes.
Yes. Opposed? Motion carries.
If I could just real quick interject. Again, this is just another example of work through the in-depth program review. I know we talked about it, but how those recommendations lead to action items, and in this case, purchasing of resources to support those recommendations. So we appreciate your support, but hopefully you see this constant loop back into the study and recommendation and then the work that happens.
Item 9.02, this is a motion to approve the TriCaster 410 Plus live panel from DBS Direct and the Telux Intercom from Northern Sound and Light for a total amount of $19,267.
Second.
Is there any discussion?
I know Mr. Kropinski's very excited about this one.
All those in favor say yes. Yes.
Yes.
Opposed? Motion carries.
And item 9.03, this is a motion to approve the addition of large format printer to the ComDoc Managed Print contract for a cost of $1,700 annually and $236 a month lease for the wide format device as attached.
Second.
Is there any discussion? All those in favor say yes.
Yes.
Yes. Opposed? Motion carries.
And item 9.04, I'm going to defer to Dr. Mellon.
Okay, thank you. So a number of years ago, we found ourselves at a place with technology across the district where satisfaction was not high. Challenges existed with the infrastructure and reliability of the network. We had moved to a place where service and support wasn't what we were looking for. And at that time, we were outsourced with our technology knowledge. And so at that time, the Tech Leadership Council emerged sort of as a vehicle to allow us to get the right people in the room and plan a path forward for how do we address this and do it in a strategic way. So in addition to our staff members in various roles, we had experts from the IU and other third parties a part of that. Where we are today with technology and where we were 5 years ago is almost impossible to comprehend. We have made incredible strides, and I'll use the CASE framework here. The CASE framework, which ties to our Bright Bites data, is classroom, access, skills, and environment. And the two pieces where we made the most significant progress over that time were the environment, so the stability and the literal environment that we have, and also in the access to resources. The next steps are really in the skills of the staff members who support students in learning and the students themselves, and then the integration of technology in the classroom where it makes sense. And one of the challenges in this area is we have the operations side of things, which continues to need attention, and we have the integration side in how technology supports teachers, students, and learning. And so what we're proposing here is to sort of do a reboot of the Tech Leadership Council, but with a different purpose. And this is not a planning meeting, but rather a work session, so we can bring all of those people together, both on the integration side of the house and on the operations sort of hardware, software side of the house, into the same space so that we are coordinated. Right now, we have a lot of great things happening, but they're happening in pockets, and our ability to really work with cohesion and be together is just something that needs attention. And so we think through a redesign here, we'll establish about 4 points a year, and we'll use those as the anchor points for how we continue to coordinate what's going on in technology. And so that's really what's described there. Fortunately, most of the expertise now we have within the district, so we don't require the same, we don't need the third party support. It's a matter of how do we coordinate the people we have within the district. So one of the pieces within this And we did this with the Tech Leadership Council when it came around, when it started the first time, was some representatives, if able, from the board. Ideally, we would have two. One would, to participate as schedules allow, but one would be sort of on the operations side and one would be on the integration side. And part of the rationale for that is that technology is expensive. Technology is integral to operations in a number of ways. And just like we've done with other key areas of our district, having some engagement from the board, not responsibilities outside of those meetings, but rather just to be there to listen, to be a part of and understand, allows those representatives to come back to this room and have a different viewpoint than they might otherwise have. So one would be great, two would be better, but if, and again, we're looking at probably once a quarter, 90 minutes, but 3 to 4:30-ish would be the time frame. We could give advance notice of when those would be for schedules if that would work. So it doesn't have to be, we got, okay, good. 1, 2, boom. Anybody else? All right. Sold. So that's hugely helpful, and we'll be sharing some information. Again, we have a lot of great people in the district. It's just a matter of now our focus is shifting to skills and classroom integration. How do we do that? We have a good environment, wired and wireless, and the asset refresh is going well. So how do we build the skills in classroom? Thank you.
Guys, thanks again. With a full board here, we didn't have the go-to if whoever didn't show up, so I was a little worried for a second there. Item 10.01 is a motion to approve the casting of votes on behalf of Pine-Richland School District for Art Levinowitz as president-elect and Dan Hine as vice president on the PSBA officers ballot.
Second.
Is there any discussion? All those in favor say yes.
Yes.
Opposed? Motion carries. Item 10.02 is a motion to elect Kathy Swoop and Mark Miller as trustees for the board of the PSBA Insurance Trust.
Second.
Is there any discussion? All those in favor say yes.
Yes.
Opposed? Motion carries. Item 10.03 is a discussion information item surrounding policy 004. Ms. Williams, you want to add additional color regarding the PSBA policy service?
Yes, PSBA sends us a PNN policy news network, which has updates to different policies. And the last one that we received, 004, was the only one for board members in their area directly that had revisions, which included the Act 55 training that is required of new board members as well as returning board members. And so that language has been added to 004 membership, along with some clarification language around vacancies and filling those vacancies.
And while we have the zeros scheduled for revision into next year, it's an election year. This would be better off in place now to avoid any ambiguity.
I don't know if everybody was able to take specific notice of anything, but I did want to touch upon a couple areas. You should have it in your folder on page 5. Under expenses, it just mentioned they have added, PSBA has added, third paragraph, actual and necessary expenses. The actual and is different from what we've had. I don't know if anybody has anything to say about that, as well as student representation is also new from our current policy. So that was something I wanted to check, see if anybody had any input on that. Otherwise, I'll keep everything in as is and bring it forward. We can have a review on it again at the October 7th, or we can put it on its first read, whichever you all feel you'd like to do.
Thank you, Barb.
Mm-hmm.
I would just highlight one report, maybe it's more like Rachel's, sort of recognition. WSCA, the local NPR channel, did a nice feature on the IU's providing of educational services to children at the Allegheny County Jail. I think I mentioned to some of you that, going to Schumann Detention Center where they run a high school at the jail, it's sort of similar, but different for a variety of reasons. Obviously, the environment is very different. The number of students served is very small. The interest there is just to highlight sometimes the reach of the IU even surprises me in terms of the number of pockets and communities that it serves. We always try to be sort of on call wherever that need arises for all learners in Allegheny County, and I thought that story did a great job of highlighting one small component fulfilling that mission. So if you want to Google it, it's easily found on WSA's website. Any other reports?
We had a meeting today of the Beatty Awareness Committee, and I can let Dr. Pasquinelli, he ran the meeting. It was quite interesting.
Yeah, it was just an opportunity to get our team together. We started this a couple of years back, and it's all about awareness of opportunities for families and students through the Beatty Connection and program. We have opportunities that start as early as Eden Hall, continue at the middle school, and continue through the high school for that awareness. So the team has been for 2 years working together. Last year we rolled out a video that we put together in conjunction with Mr. Clack and Mr. Kopinski and a couple of our students. And we're going to continue to look at opportunities to do that, again, just for student and family awareness. So we appreciate Ms. Misbeck. Ms. Gobel's been part of that as well. And we have a team of teachers and counselors that are part of that work. I do have one other thing just to mention. We were invited down to PNC Park on Friday, February 27th, to be recognized before the Pirates game as a recipient of the Fields for Kids grant program. If you recall, we applied and received some money toward our softball field work. So we asked Mr. Gary Shepard, who's our head softball coach, if he'd like to go and represent the district, which he is. So on the 27th, we'll be recognized for receiving some funding for our softball field, which we're very appreciative of Pirates Charities to do that.
You said February. What's September? Okay.
Did I say February?
You did.
Pirates will not be playing in
It's
February.
easy to get.
They might not make it to September.
They will be
27th.
playing, I'm sorry,
It's easy to get a
September.
seat at any time, but in
27th.
February especially. Anything. Okay, so just within the last week, the board is aware, and certainly our community is, about school safety and security. This is a topic that is not new. And for those who attend our meetings, read our minutes, read community communications, we've taken a number of strides over the years in the area of safety and security. The emergency operations plan, the memorandum of understanding with Northern Regional Police Department, so many of the mechanisms put in place and the people who exist to work in the area of safety and security, that's an ongoing focus. When it comes to threats, difficult moments for school districts everywhere to assess, to work with the team, to make decisions, and over the last week we have done that. I wanted to just highlight a couple of things. First is around communication. So we take pride in first assessing appropriately with law enforcement what is the appropriate action. When the action is determined, we have practiced and then we communicate with our families in a very timely manner. We have communications to our families often as incidents are occurring, and that happens because of the preparation. It also happens because we live in 2019 and social media is a significant benefit, and social media can be a significant challenge when it comes to working through issues that are occurring, in real time. And then following actions, we communicate as well to the extent that we can. One of the pieces that from time to time will come up is a desire for more information or more specific information. And, you know, one of the realities of working in education environment, there are laws, federal laws and state laws, that dictate what and how we communicate around individual students. And so again, that's a challenge. We do our very best to be transparent, clear, and timely, and also understand that those communications do not always meet every individual person's needs, but they certainly are designed and intentional to communicate with our public. And that's something we reflect on and continue to work through. So again, what we really want to say and appreciate is the supportive community that we have at Pine-Richland. At our middle school and high school campus, to see the support of students and also of families in managing and working through difficult incidents is wonderful. And so we appreciate that. We're thankful for that. We try to communicate our appreciation for that, and at the same time, continue to strengthen a safe, positive place for all students. So thank you.
Thank you. We'll now move to our second recognition of visitors. If anyone would like to address the board, you may do so at this time. Seeing how there is none, I'll move to adjourn the meeting. The board will meet in executive session to discuss student confidential, safety and security, and real estate items. Have a good night, everyone.